Hi,
Hello,
how are you
can
doing?
you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I want to make sure that I'm hearing you through this. Uh,
Okay, can you hear me?
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. You can hear me?
Yes, I can. How are you doing?
Well, I've been watching the basketball,
Okay.
which I've never watched before.
Oh, okay. Yes.
So it's a revelation to me.
And what do you
Um,
think?
well, I didn't watch all of the game, but Serbia and the US
Uh-huh.
yesterday, and I was surprised because um, I'm just aware of the fact that people like LeBron James are, you know, like the best in the world,
Yes.
as I imagine.
Yes.
And in fact, although the U.S. won, Serbia
It was close. Yeah.
was close almost the entire
Yes.
time. And right now, U.S. is beating France by a few
Uh-huh.
points,
Uh-huh.
but it's very close.
Yeah.
So um, I guess I have to adjust my understanding of America's prowess in the sport that it invented. But I
Huh.
didn't realize that other countries were like as as strong. I don't know. I mean, I would have thought that we would put a team together that would easily beat everybody else, but maybe that's unrealistic.
Well, yes, no, and again, a sport that we invented, sure, but I mean, for instance, for whatever reason, 12-year-old Japanese girls are the best skateboarders in the world, and that is just, it doesn't matter where it came from or who invented it or what they're, yeah, I think that they're competitive. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I think competitive, I can't hear you though. Okay,
Can you hear me now?
I can, yes.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
but yeah, I mean, um, I I think they're competitive athletes all over the world. I think that they're yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the point. Um, did you know that they get free health care?
Who does?
Olympic athletes, and they have since 1932. All Olympic athletes, they have dentists there. They have every Olympic athlete in the world
Oh,
gets free health care during while they're at the Olympics.
oh, well, that's quite good. I
Yeah.
mean, um, I did just see the president of France take a selfie with Jimmy Fallon during the basketball
Hmm.
match. I don't know whose idea it was. The president of France seemed more impressed than Jimmy Fallon. But which I guess says something about American culture now being accepted. Yeah. Um,
Well, yeah. I mean, they have rules where you can't say things in English. I mean, you can't.
yeah, those rules are going out the window, I think, because of they have some pop stars
Oh,
that combine French,
yes,
American
yes,
English, and Mali.
yes,
Uh,
yes.
so I think that Académie Française notion
Uh-huh.
is kind of going out the window.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, I was on on the light rail with some German tourists, and I knew whatever they were talking about Disney cruise because it was German, 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 Disney cruise, German, German,
yeah,
German, German. Uh,
yeah, yeah. We've infiltrated the language.
mhm.
The other thing that I've noticed, and I don't know whether this is just been creeping up,
Uh-huh.
which is that it seems to me that in Olympics before that I've won, not talking about last Olympics or whatever, that mostly when men or women or teams win the gold,
Yes,
they gesture and they smile and they look
yes,
very happy, you
yes.
know. But now they roar and jump and punch the air,
Sure.
and I mean it's a much, and not everybody, but certain countries do this
Yes. No. Yeah.
much more than others. For instance, when Botswana wins, they're pretty laid back about it. I mean, they're obviously very happy.
Yes, but
Um,
their culture or whatever for whatever reason
the
is more
culture is
subdued.
different, and
Is more
but the
subdued.
French culture is very much like the American
It's
now. I mean,
boisterous
not,
and it. But wasn't it okay when? Well, that was a political statement. But when the athletes held their fists up, wasn't
oh,
that? I mean, yeah. I mean, that
that
was
was that. No, that was a shocking moment um, because first of all, that was a well-known Black Power salute
yes,
at the time. I mean,
yes,
to Americans.
yes.
I don't know if it was around the world.
Right.
So it was not a gesture that had anything to do with celebrating their win.
Except it did because it was
Well,
celebrating
it
their
was,
win
yes,
for black people, and that's exact. Yes, but that's not how
yeah. I
it's
mean,
interpreted.
it did, but
But
it was 100% political,
yes, yes. Oh, yes. I mean, yes.
right?
And that's how it was interpreted. No. Okay, my favorite. So I don't know how I feel about this. This comes from like hip hop culture of biting the medals, like literally biting.
Oh,
But
oh,
then the athlete who went viral because so I think she had won bronze, and so the first class was she's biting it, and the silver is biting it, and so she just kind of like holds it to her mouth, but she doesn't. It was, but it just kind of she went viral because it was kind of an innocent moment of her sort of realizing that this was the
a
photo.
thing.
Yeah, the thing. Um,
Well, I mean that the gesture is goes back to uh I guess when people were
oh yes, oh no no when you
coins
were
were
actually
forged,
yes
so if
you could
somebody gave
yes,
you a quarter, you
and it was
kind of
you actually tested it. Yes, no
it
yes
was too soft, then it was
yes
yeah.
yes.
uh but no, it's been interesting
And then
to watch.
and so what is your take? And so I don't watch a lot of basketball. I watched the most basketball when I lived in New Mexico in the 90s just because neighboring Texas, the Houston Rockets, this is when like Hakeem Elijah won. They had just like a series of wins in a row, and so the whole region, I would say, was just had basketball fever. I don't, or maybe it's just popular there because there's no New Mexico has no football team. New Mexico has no professional sports team. So we have the teams nearest to us, and that's what was winning at the time. So but no, I like basketball. I watch it. I can enjoy it. The only sport I can't watch is golf. But yeah,
Well, I don't yeah, golf watching is equivalent to watching grass growing, I would think. But what seems to me about these top top basketball games is
yes,
the team that gets the ball keeps the
keeps the ball.
ball and
Yes,
tries
yes,
to sink the ball,
yes,
and there's no kind of
yes,
that. In other words, they're so good at it
yes.
that they rarely seem to be able to capture the ball
Right.
from the other team um, until they try to sink it.
And
And they usually sink it, and they're so good that they sink it. I don't know, like 75%
yes,
of the time.
yeah. And I mean, and oftentimes it's like the same one guy on the team, and sort of the rest of the team is kind of just protecting them, and it's their game with the ball for as long as that's going on, and just other,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But no,
Also, you know, I I'm trying to think. I guess in every sport there's a physique advantage, but because this sport is entirely about putting a ball in a basket,
yes,
the taller you are, I mean, it's
yes, yes, and no,
so
but speed. I mean, because you have to be tall, of course. You have to have the reach, but you have to have speed. You have to have agility. You have to have the
no,
jump.
you have to have
You
everything.
have to
Yeah.
have it. Yeah, no, I mean it's yeah. The other thing about basketball that I think is unique-ish is it has always and to this day, like you said, Jimmy Fallon and the President of France, it has celebrity fans. I mean, back in the '90s, it had Jack Nicholson, but there's always. I mean, now the NFL has Taylor Swift rooting for her boyfriend, but generally they don't have the same level of, and they're courtside in a brightly lit space where the camera doesn't even necessarily have to cut to them. The action goes right past them. Like you see Jerry Seinfeld because they're playing ball right in front of him. You see,
Yeah,
so they don't have to. They can't accuse them of gratuitously inserting them the way they do of shots of Taylor Swift all high up in her skybox because they're right.
right.
The celebrities are courtside. They're in the shot because they're in the shot.
Yeah. Yeah, I hadn't. I mean, I was aware of that. I hadn't thought of though that Spike Lee is literally sitting on the court, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
uh,
Which, I mean, and for me back in the day when I didn't even necessarily understand the rules and wasn't such a, I'm a bigger sports fan, but I'm still not the hugest. Though that was the interesting part to me was the celebrities or the,
yes, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, how was your week? How is everything?
My week was fine. I went to the zoo yesterday. My job had an
Oh, good.
annual, like the annual staff event, and it was at the zoo, and that was, yeah, that was fine. It was fun. It was,
Are the animals happy? Are they did look?
Yeah,
are
it's a
they-
good zoo. It's a, yeah, I think it's a, yeah, and they have it's interesting. They have signs that say prominently, if you don't see animals, it's because their spaces are designed for them to be out or not, and if they're not out, it means they're choosing not to be out, and that's how our zoo is. You don't get to see all the animals all the
Okay.
time. That's what good zoo stewardship means, and they reinforce that kind of idea. Yes, but there were giraffes, there were zebras, there was a hippo, tapir. Yeah, no, warthogs were very, very cute. I got to pet goats. Yeah, this
Good.
is not something I would normally do. Not something I would. Yeah, I wouldn't think of to do this by myself, but I'm glad I did it. It was fun. How about your?
And it was the company affair. I mean, it
Yes,
was a
yeah, and we had a quick meeting on deliverables just so that we can call it a thing. That it was catered,
Oh,
it was
okay.
food,
Good.
and we had a gathering, and then we were just free to enjoy the zoo, and people brought their families and whatnot. It was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, how was your week?
Um. Well, I don't know what admitting this signifies, but I think I went to my first Walmart today. Um,
Okay.
uh, it was huge.
Yes.
I mean, I've never been in an indoor space that
Yes.
wasn't a stadium
Yes.
that was that big.
Yes.
I mean, it was kind of staggering to me.
Um,
I just went to get freezer bags, but
did you leave with just freezer bags?
did I? Yeah, no, I did. No, I left with freezer bags and a non-scented garbage bags,
Okay. Well, yeah. No, that's yeah.
which were in adjacent aisles.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was directed correctly and immediately to the correct aisle, but it was about a mile away from where I had gone in,
Hmm.
so that I was able to see everything that is sold at Walmart.
Yes.
So between Walmart and Home Depot, you don't need to go anywhere else to actually
No.
build a house, live in a house, buy
No.
clothes, eat,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Home Depot's owner is homophobic, so I'm going to support Lowe's and promote Lowe's. But yes, yeah, big.
Yeah, we go to Lowe's.
Yes.
We go to Lowe's.
Good.
Yeah.
But no, Walmart, and then again, if we're talking the politics of it, I politically campaigned. I wrote zines about anti-Walmart for years, for decades. They basically their modus operandi was open these huge warehouse stores, shut down entire main streets. Like you think about the bookstore closes,
Yes.
shut down entire main streets, and then leave town because no one has jobs anymore. I mean, Walmart literally destroyed towns in the 90s. Fast forward to 2024, I'm actually a Walmart Plus member. Of the three sort of big box retailers, which would be Amazon, Target, and Walmart, Walmart is the most transparent, the least harmful in how they, at least in my opinion, how they do business. So I actually am pro Walmart. That being said, I rarely if ever go into the stores. I find them just incredibly overwhelming, and I mean, I don't, but my first experience, it's interesting. Do you really think this was your first time ever inside of a Walmart?
No, it wasn't. I don't think the first time on my own.
Oh, that is
Um,
a solo mission.
yeah, and I was able to check myself out electronically.
Yes.
I did, however, forget to take a receipt, so I thought that I might be
Oh,
stopped
get
at the
stopped at the
door.
door, but they didn't.
Well, no, I wasn't. Um, and I think the reason I wasn't is because I was an old white guy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Because there was a lady in front of me with a, I mean, she wasn't stopped. She just
right,
showed them a receipt,
right.
which,
Yes,
was probably what people do.
yes,
But they didn't. You can get away with quite a lot when you're old, actually.
yes.
You
Um,
know, you
and
can look bewildered.
I was gonna say, but you have to kind of play into some of those
Or you
stereotypes a
have,
little bit.
yeah, you have to look
Yes,
bewildered.
yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah. My first experience in a Walmart was was living in Santa Fe, and it's where you bought stuff because it's where you bought stuff on that end of town where you didn't have the actual hardware store and the whatnot and the whatnot. It's interesting. Okay, so when Walmart took their foray into groceries in the 90s, I mean, Walmart is actually the largest. They are the biggest seller of groceries in America. So even when all four of the majors combine, which is now happening, that Kroger's, Albertsons, Kroger's, Albert, yeah, it's Kroger's and Albertsons are combining, and that will basically be every grocery store in America. But that still won't compete with Walmart. So, but back then they had a very limited selection. They had almost no produce, almost no fresh. Their stores weren't designed for fresh food, so it was
right, right.
very processed, all very pre-packaged, all
Yeah,
lots of preservatives and whatnot. Now again, fast forward to 2024, you find anything in a Walmart, and I can even find my organic vegan stuff. I can find. I mean, they have adapted to. I and how they do that, how they keep their prices low, while adapting to American kids, and actually people like you, people with a little bit more discretionary income is the fastest growing segment of Walmart customers. They've kind of tapped out of the budget customers, but they're bringing people in because they sell $2,000 couches and they sell higher end stuff, and people are realizing that too. I am not paid by Walmart, but I actually am. I think as far as a business model, they're still a large evil corporation. Don't get me wrong, but as far as it's going to be a large evil corporation to run a network that big, they're not the evil list.
yeah. And on a very personal level, Alice Walton, buys art and has this museum in
Huh?
Benton, Arkansas, and supports a lot of artists. And
Huh?
yeah,
Mm,
she she's the daughter.
yes, and Sam Walton he was a big philanthropist too, as well.
He was, yeah, yeah.
Hmm, yeah,
So
yeah.
well, so that's that. Um,
That was your trip to Walmart, but no, that's to buy bags. Good. No,
that was exciting. Um, let's see. Um, I've been amused by the Willie Brown uh, his his take on this.
he has the
Um,
flight records. I don't. I
well,
mean,
well, yeah, but apparently the guy who Trump did take a helicopter ride with,
Jerry
who
Brown.
would
Yeah, yeah.
in 1990,
Oh, huh.
he was trying to impress a New Jersey council member
Trump
to
was.
get permission to build a
Oh,
casino.
sure, 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 sure.
And this is a 6 foot tall African American
Wait, what's
politician,
this guy's
right?
name? What's this guy's name?
What?
What's this guy's name?
I don't remember his name, but he's now 95 and Willie
Right.
Brown is 90. So this guy has come forward and said, well, it was actually me. It was 1990, right?
Yes.
Trump actually describes it in his book
Huh.
and incorrectly says, or Trumpian says, that this guy almost turned white, right? Whereas this guy said Donald Trump looked like he was totally going to lose it.
Yeah.
He was panicking.
No,
And
if I think anyone, no, the reason this story has come up, the only part of this that I believe is that if you take a helicopter ride with Donald Trump, he's terrified. I know the only thing I've learned is that he is terrified
yeah,
of helicopters. That's all I
he's
know.
terrified the whole time.
Which is
So
funny because he has one with his logo printed on it, but I bet he never ever flies it. I bet that's just to look good
so
at the top of a skyscraper for publicital shots. Yeah.
so before this second guy came
Yeah.
forward, Willie Brown said, "Well, I guess Donald Trump probably was in a helicopter once with a black guy, and he can't, obviously he thought it was me, right?" Then Willie Brown and this council guy
Right.
got on the phone together
Huh.
and were joking about it. I
Yeah.
mean, really making
Yeah.
jokes about it.
Right.
Willie Brown said, "Well, at least you didn't think I was Beyonce." I mean, no, I mean,
No, but you understand. Well, okay, but people were saying that he thought it was Jerry Brown who was the governor because
yes, he got everything wrong.
he got right. No, okay, and no, but the other thing about Willie Brown, which is funny, because Willie Brown basically up until 2021 wrote like a San Francisco gossip column. Willie Brown is
Yeah.
just very famously verbose. The New York Times reporter who first asked him, who knows him, he said, "You know me. If I was in a near-death helicopter crash, everyone would have heard about it. There's no way, like that. Like so."
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
So
Every part of that is just, I mean, but it's also, I mean, every part of that's ridiculous. It is such a desperate attempt to wrestle back any sense of attention.
but also, and he made up. He said he made up an entirely fictitious conversation about Kamala
no,
Harris.
and
that
that's, I
Willie
mean,
Brown had told him terrible things about her.
and that, I mean, that part doesn't, I mean, that's the part where he just lies like it's, I mean, he knows that part would never be verified.
He's breathing, so he's lying.
He's breathing, so he's lying. He's talking, so he's lying, and it will just be sort of excused, ignored, and even by the people who hate him, and like me and you can't do anything about it. He's just going to keep doing it. He's going to keep insisting that on the stage. He's insisting that Kamala Harris is trying to ban red meat. There are pictures of her flipping burgers she said, "I love hamburgers." In fact, they asked her about this in 2019, and she said, "I think, changing dietary guidelines to encourage healthy eating, encourage environmental stewardship is much better than restricting this or restricting that." She was very clear about what she said. So for him to say that is he just makes things up, and he does it over and over and over. And USA Today can fact check him, but what does
It
that?
doesn't matter
It
because
doesn't matter. It's
he's actually proved that lying has no consequences for him.
Yeah, yeah. But for everyone else who goes to jail, do you know that in Arizona, the jurors almost indicted him? He could have been the 19th indicted co-conspirator, and the prosecutors, the people who were bringing the case forward, had to create a whole PowerPoint to explain why, and I still don't understand why he wouldn't, but yeah.
In Arizona?
Yeah, in Arizona. This is over the election boxes, and this is where
Yes.
I'm going to say Sidney Powell, and I think maybe even Rudy
Yes.
Giuliani is one of them, but they almost indicted Trump in that. But other people go to jail for his lying, then they get out of jail and they show up at the RNC to support him. Like, I can't.
Yes.
If I were Peter Navarro, Trump let me rot in jail, except I'm Peter Navarro, and I made it through, and now I'm a folk hero for having made it through. That being said, again, I think he needs to do these desperate race baiting helicopter fake near deaths because his actual
Do you think she has a chance now?
a chance. Trump who? Vance what? No, they're done. He can't.
Are they done? Okay.
He can't even get the narrative back to him. I don't think he finally just had to cave and say, "Okay, I will meet her exactly on her terms." She's owning Trump. He said no to ABC, he wanted it on Fox.
Yeah.
No, he's going to do it on ABC on the date she wanted. And that's a really subtle, but to his base, even the people, she's owning him right now. He's not going to get the narrative back. He's not going to. They're really struggling to attach to her. I think it's over. I'm not, and I might be drinking too much Kool-Aid. I might be too optimistic. It's still
apparently there was a fundraiser in Southampton, probably yesterday, the day before, and with the big money
Yep.
people, and
Yep.
somebody was there who heard the conversations, and they were trying to they were asking him questions suggesting that he not keep talking about having won the last election and things like that, and he just doubled down. He 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 didn't listen to
Um,
what people wanted him, well, those people at least, his big donors
oh,
wanted him
okay.
to
Yes.
do
Yes.
to get back. But
Yeah.
he apparently he was just the same blathery,
That being said, he is doing while on the stump. He, as a person, can't resist all the race and gender based attacks that they're warning him against. He just can't resist that. That's just who he is. But policy wise, he is making some interesting statements. Whether or not I don't believe them at all, but I am worried about some of these things. So, for instance, he said that he's proposing not taxing servers' tips, which that I don't care whose idea it was. I absolutely support that. And
yeah,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
But the problem with that is when he was president, he actually tried to push through a thing where actually the corporates or the owners could collect the tips and then distribute them any way they want or keep them for themselves. I mean, it literally was open-ended that would basically, and every server who was serving at the time, and even ex-servers like myself were aware of this, that he tried to basically steal servers' tips while he was president. But I don't know if low information voters remember that, know that, and if they hear him saying this, he's saying that he won't tax Social Security. He's also saying that Kamala Harris is trying to end Social Security, which is ridiculous. He's saying she's trying to end the child tax credit, which is ridiculous. She's trying to expand it. All these things, all these social safety nets that Republicans just by platform are against, but he also demonstratively showed that he would cut as a president. He's now saying he's in favor of. And again, I'm worried about lower information voters who are like, oh, all that sounds really good. I don't like him, but I like that. Not
Well, yeah, he will say anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think any scheme that sounds to blue collar voter, it's in their favor, as you just said. I think when you look at the fine print, it will probably benefit the corporations or the manufacturers
Yes. He's also
as much
yeah,
or
much
more.
more. No, yes, and he's also promised in a room of CEOs that he would cut corporate taxes, which he did the last time. So
but his
I
at
believe.
the moment,
Yeah.
what he's proposing would add trillions of dollars to the national debt.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
From from economist point of view, it
Yes.
doesn't make, he's very far from this old-fashioned Republican conservative.
That being said, and if we are talking about his actual record, he did actually add trillions to the deficit during his presidency, and a lot of that was what Republicans would traditionally call government handouts. It was those stimulus checks, and especially massive amounts of, especially corporate COVID-related loans, that much of which ended up turning out to be fraudulent, and now they're still like all of this is all tied up in the courts.
Yeah.
And that's where our national deficit came from. I mean, he did that.
Didn't he want his name on the checks?
They were on the checks. I got the checks. His name was on the checks. And I know, for instance, rapper Sexy Red, when asked, why would you vote for Trump, given everything he has done against the black community, she said, I like those Trump checks. I mean, some people that appeals to, and she's not my favorite rapper, obviously. I would definitely be much more. Yeah, I can give you a list of rappers.
So what about the rapper who was arrested in the hotel, the Georges V Hotel in Paris?
Tell me about this one. I might have missed this one.
Travis Scott.
Oh, what is he? What did he? Well, okay, what did he do now? I don't know.
Apparently, he assaulted a security person.
That
but
sounds
the
about
security person was trying to come between him and his security person.
Oh,
it's possible that he had an argument with his own security person, and then the hotel security tried to,
That
right.
that all sounds
They let
about
him
right.
go. They kept him overnight, and then
Okay.
they let him go.
Yeah.
So
Um,
probably Jimmy Fallon got him out. I don't know. Probably.
um, yeah. Justin Timberlake's lawyer better keep his mouth shut, otherwise Justin Timberlake might actually have to show up in court. Uh,
Really?
yeah,
In,
specifically the judge said I can make your client show up in person because so far Justin's been able to continue on with his. I think it's called Forget Tomorrow, which is probably a pretty prescient name for a tour. That
Forget. Yes.
um,
So is he? Has he copped to this, or he's
I don't think he's reached the pleading stage. They're still just in
okay?
preliminary. It's going very slowly, and but he's had his license has officially been suspended for 1 year, so he can't drive. But I think that'll probably
That's
be.
not going to affect his life much, is it?
I don't know.
I
Right.
mean,
I mean, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. What else? What I mean, well, Tim Walz. Thought
what?
Tim
Who?
Walz.
Oh, well, he's too good to be true. I mean, no,
but
I mean,
everything we like. Okay, so I mean I will be like 71% of Americans a week ago. I had no idea who he was. My first I've done 3 specials on him in the last week. One of which was called "Who the F is Tim Walz?" Like literally, and then the last one was called
yeah.
Palooza, just to like I'm all in for him. Like yeah, everything I've discovered just makes me love him more, and they're all very progressive, right wing talking points that I think that if they can get the roads in, they might use. But I think it's an interesting choice. I think he's definitely a great choice for doing the job. I also believe he is a good strategic choice for getting elected. But people have questions about that, and I know I'm just curious. What are your yeah.
I I think it was given the choices.
Yes,
I think he was certainly the best choice.
yes,
He's not delivering a critical state, but
right.
but he's. I mean, you can. I shouldn't say this, but like Wisconsin, Minnesota, and they're all like he covers that territory.
Yes, yes,
Um, uh, he is. It seems to me his long held, demonstrable progressive credits
yes.
are um, are unusual given his appearance and his affect. That he's
Yes,
given this
and his background. He actually grew
to the
up in.
white middle class independent voter
Yeah,
male who is beginning to think that Trump is weird or
yeah,
really whatever.
yeah.
Um, they I think enough of them will bend towards him,
I
this
know.
vice
Yeah,
president,
yes,
um, and ignore some of, to them, his left wing leanings.
yeah,
I think he balances the ticket
yes,
um, very well. I
yeah.
mean, and I think he's probably. I guess he's going to debate Vance very well. I think
Yeah,
because he's kind of jokey and laid back,
yeah,
but at the same time he's got authority,
yeah.
and he's been a governor. I mean, he's been doing the
Yes,
job.
yes.
Vance hasn't been doing the job, right?
He's done Vance's job and been governor and yeah, no, he has
Yeah, and he's not a rich guy. He's
no,
not a rich
no,
guy.
he doesn't apparently he doesn't own a home. He sold his home when he moved into the governor's mansion, and his net worth is around $300,000. He's the only
Yeah,
non-millionaire on the national ticket,
yeah,
including Harris. She's a millionaire, but so is
yeah,
Vance, and Trump's a billionaire. Yeah, no, he very much locks in down home. The sellout item on their website this week is a camouflage hat that says Walz Harris. It's like in orange, in like Blaze Hunter orange. He is a hunter. But the NRA came out against him. They have at one time they endorsed him, but he has
yeah.
progressively become more and again, I don't even think to the left, more sensible on guns, because 70-something% of Americans want sensible gun legislation. They don't think that,
So I think he's with the majority
yeah, he's
as
someone.
far as gun owners who want gun safety.
Yes, yes, but and the
Yeah.
NRA can label him a gun grabbing radical, but I don't think the people who actually wear hats like that are gonna buy that. I think
I don't think it'll work.
and he's
I don't. They can't make him into Bernie.
no, right. And I mean, I think he absolutely, without even hitting the debate stage, his authenticity calls out Vance's inauthenticity. I mean, he did call it. Vance is fueled by billionaire West Coast money. They're trying to paint him as a wannabe West Coaster like Kamala, but actually Vance is fueled by Silicon Valley, Peter Thiel, big money. He wrote a book trashing the place that he came from. He is not. They're using the Kendrick Lamar, not one of us. He's not us. He's not like us. He's not part of us.
Yeah.
They're right. And Walz, you're right. He's actually from small. He was rural, small town. Well, he was born in Wisconsin, right? And then, yeah. Anyway, but he is authentically that. I think he will authentically get some of those votes, and I think he may, especially if they actually make it to the White House, change some of those minds in terms of like, oh, some of these ideas aren't so progressive, aren't so dangerous. They're just
Right.
common sense ideas, and really opposing them rabidly, that is kind of weird. That is really like fixating on bathrooms and exam rooms, and that's the weird stuff, not making sensible laws that
So yeah,
benefit
he
everybody.
hit a nerve. He really hit a nerve with
Yeah.
that.
So
And apparently Trump has keep saying, well, he was talking about DJ. He meant DJ's weird. I'm not weird. He wasn't saying I'm weird. So he's obviously really up, right?
I mean that is
That's very telling, isn't it?
that is the remorse. Yeah, the remorse buy of the year. Like, I mean, yeah. And I still question whether he even wanted to be president. I think when he loses, first of all, he won't admit that he's lost, but the closest he'll ever come to admitting it is blaming Vance. I also know, back to Shapiro, yes, Pennsylvania would have been a strategic choice, but I think that would have been a mistake. I think, again, Walz hits all the right fields with all the right groups. It's not just those
Yeah.
other people are, I think he's instantly likable in a way that Vance is instantly not likable. I think he's instantly authentic in a way that Vance isn't. Yeah, I think that is I mean, Nancy Pelosi, they asked her what she thought, and she just laughed and said, I think he's a great choice. And just in a really like her famous Nancy Pelosi condescending, like, I think he's a great choice. I'd leave it at that. But yeah, I think they're scrambling. I don't know what, I mean, I think they know.
Well, I hope so.
Mhm.
Yeah, I sure hope so.
Well, I mean, who knows? I mean, again, it's 90 days is a long time. Anything can happen. Any story can come out.
When is the debate? Did they set a date?
September 10th on ABC.
Oh, okay.
And then I don't know if I don't think that a vice presidential has been officially.
Oh, yeah.
I do think Vance is scared and probably should be.
Yeah.
All right, what's your week coming up looking like, and what?
I'm in the country. I'm working. I have some projects.
Yeah.
I have a couple of interviews to do with my book, about my book coming out.
When is that? When is that? Does that have a? That's a. What is the release?
September the 3rd is
Okay.
the publication
Okay.
date. I'm waiting to get some copies here from they're printed in the UK,
Yes.
and I'll send you one as soon as I have them.
Absolutely. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And you're gonna have a good week?
I am. Yeah. No. I hope so.
How's the weather? We had a storm.
I heard. Yeah. No. I mean, but you
yesterday,
didn't have flooding or anything like that, because
we were told to go into our basement.
Oh, it got that severe. Oh, wow.
No, but it didn't.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It did. There was a very heavy rain and
Sure.
some wind,
Sure.
and we didn't go into the basement.
No, it's been.
But our phones told us to do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. No, it's been very sunny here. It's just weather as usual. We had a cleanup day at Othello Park today, and with the little grabber things and buckets, and the
Oh yeah, I
community
got
came out.
those.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, it's yeah. I
How
mean,
are the doggies?
the doggies are good. The doggies are right here. Duke, you want to come say hi? Duke, come say hi.
Hi, hello.
Arf. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. How are yours?
don't you love that? They're fine. They're um
How is it's Chloe, right? How did she adjust to city life?
Cleo.
Cleo, how did she
Cleo,
adjust to
we
city life?
took Cleo into the city for a
Yeah,
couple of days,
yeah,
and she was a bit nervous,
yeah.
but she was okay on her own,
Hmm. Hmm.
So we we just have to figure out if we can manage all three of them in the city or not.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
but they're good. They're
Good.
good.
Okay. Have a good week.
All right.
I love you.
Love you, Bob.
Bye.
Take